Hello, people. Me again. Another beautiful day. Yeah. Hope your five senses work. Health and strength is good. What? Now, and to you video game nerds, what's up with it? Got a nice little article for you all. This for the Xbox and PlayStation fans. Listen to this article. You ready? We talking about the console wars here. Listen to the title. You ready? Xbox versus PlayStation console wars were encouraged by Xbox, say former exec. Really? Was encouraged by Xbox? I got something to say about that. But anyway, listen to this. It says, the era of PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 was one with its own challenges, like the Red Ring of Death or the launch of PlayStation 3 having technical issues. One of the most prominent being its obscene price. If you were on the internet, you would more often than not hear of console wars and countless debates about which console was better than the other, some of which rage on to this day. If your comments section is anything to go by, there's an interesting note about this, though, and it comes from Peter Moore, a former executive. In a report from GameSpot, Moore spoke to the Front Office Sport podcast, saying that Microsoft essentially encouraged the console wars of the mid-2000s to 2010. It means that Microsoft loved competition. Bring it. Anyway, says here, Moore said, we encourage the console wars not to create division, but to challenge each other. And when I say each other, I mean Microsoft and Sony. True. They, like I said before, they feed off each other. Says here, if Microsoft hadn't stuck to the course after the Xbox, after the Red Ring of Death, gaming would be poor placed for it. Remember, I told you this. Competition is what drives the industry. You get it now. You wouldn't have the competition you have today. The Red Ring of Death, when the Xbox 360 was first released, was such a widespread issue that it wound up costing Microsoft $1.15 billion to resolve on future prints of the 360. This in turn was used as one of the reasons that the PS3 was superior in the console wars at the time. It's interesting to look back on this era, all things considered. Moore left Microsoft in 2007 and went on to EA Sports president, then became CEO of Liverpool Football Club, and now resides as an executive at Unity. He says, fast forward to these days, the console war topic isn't as prevalent as before. There are still people that fixated on what exclusive are on what platform, but in reality, PC wind up winning out here, as Xbox and PlayStation games end up landing on either Steam or the Epic Game Store. In some capacity, was encouraging the console wars to rage on. Fruitful, only time will tell. And let's see, that's the end of the article. Now, and I will leave a link in the description box with this article. Now, okay, Xbox versus PlayStation. Look, you know what? I compare the console wars to a marriage. You know what? Better yet, let me say this. You ever watch the Flintstones, right? You have Barney and Betty, Fred and Wilma, right? Fred and Wilma always have conflict. Why? Always, because why? Because it keeps the relationship going, right? Barney and Betty, not so much. You don't hear too much about them, but Fred and Wilma, is where the action is at, because Fred has Wilma, Pebbles, and of course Dino to deal with, plus his job, right? So conflicts in a relationship keeps the relationship going. Conflicts in the console wars now keeps the industry going. The industry thrives. The industry grows. The industry moves. The industry has life in it. Competition creates jobs. So Sony and Microsoft, the competition between those two was to push each other to keep going, to keep the industry alive, to keep the industry afloat. If there was no competition in the video game industry, it wouldn't give anybody nothing to talk about. The industry would be boring. It would be dead. So you need competition in the industry to keep the industry alive. Of course, video games is what pushes the industry. The real monster behind the computer industry is video games. But video games also create conflict because everybody wants to prove their self-worth. I mean, every company want to prove their self-value and self-worth in the video game industry. So the competition is good for the video game industry. It's just like conflicts in a relationship is good for the relationship. As long as it's healthy conflict, it keeps the relationship alive. It keeps the relationship growing. If there's no conflict in the relationship, that relationship is dead. So it's the same with the video game industry. Conflicts is what keeps the industry alive. It challenges each opponent to give it their best shot, to do their utmost, to do their very best to stay alive. Okay, and conflict creates challenges. Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, Sega. You know, remember this whole PlayStation and Xbox rivalry stems from Nintendo and Sega. And if you remember how Nintendo and the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis was going at it, for those who love video games like me, they'll tell you. You don't need me to explain it, but you know how that went. Remember that commercial Sega had when they were calling Nintendo Pretendo, and I think they dropped the Super Nintendo in the bushes or something like that. But it was the competition between Nintendo and Sega. It kept the industry alive. It kept the industry healthy. Everybody was moving. Everybody was active. Everybody had their favorite games they liked. Between Nintendo and Sega, it kept conversation going. So the competition between Sony and Sony and Microsoft is really healthy for the industry, man. And a lot of gamers love it. It doesn't matter who wins or lose. It's all about keeping the industry alive, keeping the industry afloat, keeping the industry going. There's a battle brewing right now with Microsoft and Sony. The console war is still alive. Look, last night, where's this article at? The argument between Sony and Microsoft now, it's over Call of Duty right now. That's the biggest argument on the internet right now, over Call of Duty. Listen to this. It says here, Sony to Brazilian regulators, no rival can overtake Call of Duty. That's 68 to 70 billion dollars that Microsoft put down on Activision Blizzard. It has some serious ramifications to the industry, okay? And that is creating a huge conflict between Sony and Microsoft. So they're saying, Sony is saying that to the Brazilian regulators, no rival, meaning Microsoft, can overtake Call of Duty. So yeah, it's they're battling for that because, man, Activision Blizzard and then Activision Blizzard, 70 billion. That's because we're talking about Call of Duty here, and Call of Duty benefits both Sony and Microsoft. So if the deal goes through, Microsoft is still gonna have to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. They can't just keep it to themselves. Yes, it might go to Game Pass on day one, but they can't keep it. They can't keep it to themselves. They got to keep it on PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? So to keep the industry alive and keep the industry going. If Call of Duty is just on Xbox only, I don't think it's going to thrive. So the whole battle right now is brewing over this $70 billion deal. Look, it says Sony speak to the Brazilian regulators about Microsoft's 68.7 billion Activision Blizzard buyout. Expresses how the big Call of Duty is. Says here, worldwide regulators are asking competitors like Sony's for comment on Microsoft Activision Blizzard buyout and how it could affect competitors' position in the market. Sony had a few choice words to say about Activision most popular franchise. It says here, Call of Duty is the top shooters series of all time. It's a powerhouse franchise that helped Microsoft and Sony generate combined billions every year. Even with the 30% split, we already circulate that Sony and Microsoft will lose hundreds of millions if Call of Duty is kept off PlayStation's platform. Should Microsoft 68.7 billion Activision Blizzard deal close, but Sony has delivered official comments reiterating how important Call of Duty is for gaming. Sony and Microsoft is fighting over Call of Duty right now, so the console wars continue. Okay, if it ain't about who got the best exclusives, look, if it ain't about who got the best exclusive or who got the best console, okay, it's over Call of Duty now. So yeah, and Microsoft knows that they can't keep Call of Duty to themselves. They ain't gonna be on Game Pass day one, but that PlayStation user base is big, so yeah, they're battling for it. They're gonna have to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation, even though they bought Activision Blizzard, because that PlayStation user base is big, and that means if Microsoft miss out on that, that's a lot of money to be missing out on. So they can't afford just to keep Call of Duty to themselves. So Sony and Microsoft will always be clashing. Will always be clashing. You know, it's just friendly competition. It just keeps the industry alive. So competition is really good for the industry and for the, you know, it keeps the game industry moving. So, you know, things has to go wrong for, you know, things has to go wrong for the game industry to keep moving. Bad things have to happen for the game industry to keep moving. It can't just be all good all the time. You gotta have a little conflict just to keep the industry alive, afloat, and keep things in proper perspective. Anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinion on this, and I'm gonna leave the article in the description box. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still a Star Wars and Star Trek fan. Bored, dark side. Come on. Peace.